In today's society, people always strive to make the most rational choices possible. Thus, rational choosers should always make the same decision when given the same data, right? Not necessarily. The communication framing theory and concept of framing suggests that how something is presented influences the choices people make. George Lakoff, a professor at University of California, Berkeley, stated that communication itself comes with a frame. The elements of the frame include a message, an audience, a messenger, a medium, images, a context, and especially higher level moral and conceptual frames. The effects of framing occur when a subject makes different choice depending on whether the same outcomes are phrased as though there were gains versus as though there were losses. To show how this works in the real world, in 1981, scientists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky conducted an experiment among 300 college students showing the effects of framing. During the testing, they split the students into two groups. For each group, they told the students to imagine that the U.S. is preparing for an outbreak of an unusual Asian disease, which is expected to kill 600 people. Two alternative programs to combat the disease have been proposed to each group. Assume that the exact scientific estimates of the consequences of the programs are as follows. If Program A is adopted, 200 people will be saved. If Program B is adopted, there is a 1/3 probability that 600 people will be saved and a 2/3 probability that no people will be saved. Tversky and Kahneman found that 72% of the students chose Program A and 28% chose Program B because the idea of saving 200 lives with certainty was more promising than the probability of a 1 in 3 chance of saving 600 lives. Now, for Problem 2, they took the rest of the students and gave them two programs to choose from as well. If Program C is adopted, 400 people will die. If Program D is adopted, there's a 1/3 probability that nobody will die, and a 2/3 probability that 600 people will die. Surprisingly enough, 78% of the students chose Program D, the risk-taking choice, because certain death of 400 people is less acceptable than the 2 in 3 chance that 600 people will die. To show how framing is applied here, the similarities between the programs, Program A and Program C, are put together. As you can tell, with Program A, 200 people would be saved and 400 people would die, which is the same as Program C, only worded differently. Same with Programs B and D, same outcome, just worded differently. Tversky and Kahneman then developed their prospect theory, stating that people value a certain gain more than a probable gain with an equal or greater expected value. The opposite is true for losses. Therefore, people respond differently depending on whether the choices are framed in terms of gains or in terms of losses. Communication framing can also be seen in various aspects of your everyday life, the biggest one being politics, with each politician attempting to lure you to their side. To do so, they are able to manipulate the way they state statistics so that it makes them more appealing in your eyes. As you can tell, framing is a big part of our communication method that we don't really realize we're even using. So next time you're given a situation like Tversky and Kahneman's, make sure you look at each option in depth and weigh out each option so that you can choose the one that best suits you.